Hello, this is Professor Angelia, and today we're working back on Zen Experiences and Awareness class through Works of Heart. And last time we were talking about, how thinking will get you nothing. Positive thinking is good, but you must act to get what you want. And we're going to take up on today, be happy reaching for your goals. Because if you're unhappy in what you're going for, then maybe you need to rethink your goals. Because it shouldn't be something that makes you unhappy, it should be something that makes you happy. You have refound yourself and now are going for what you want. Because a lot of us, after we, go out into the adult world, we kind of lose ourselves. With all the pressures of life and becoming an adult, and you have to do this, and you have to do that. We kind of lose who we are, and sometimes you have to take a step back, and think back when you were a kid. Now, what did I want to do with my life, or what did I want my life to look like? And you're only going to be happier, if you go for that, do that. Don't let disappointments discourage you. It's like the old saying, fall down 10 times, get up 11, because disappointments are going to happen. That's a fact of life. I don't know anyone who's had everything they ever wanted happen like that, no setbacks, no disappointments. I would be amazed, if someone's life went like that. Nothing should be able to sway you if it's something that you really want. That's a problem for a lot of people, especially with survivors like, I work with. Disappointments can floor people who have depression or anxiety, and make them give up. And that's the saddest thing, I think, about people, is when they quit and give up on what they want in their life and their dreams just because they've had disappointments or setbacks. The facts are, disappointments and setbacks are going to come your way. You're a human being. That's just the way it is. But what matters is that you dust yourself off, stand back up, and get going again. No pity parties, Like one pity party ever at the end of whatever happened. Sit there, eat some chocolate cake or a pint of ice cream, cry, feel sorry for yourself. Next day, get back up, get back on the horse, keep going. Denial and rejection are unfortunately a part of life. Sometimes other people are going to deny you what you want, if it's in their power, just because it's in their power to do it. So, that's something, excuse me, got a little ear itch here, that we can't help. And rejection. We're all going to get rejected at some point or another in my life. Not, everybody is going to love us, and not everybody's going to be on board with what we want to do. So rejection, is just a part of life. And if you get rejected, you just keep moving. Like my kids watched, Finding Nemo stuff, and my youngest one really loved that stuff. So just keep swimming, as Dory would say. You must be strong and keep trying. If it's something you really want, why would you give up? Why would you not keep trying? And the easy answer to that would be, it's because you're quitting. You've given up. What would have happened if the first caveman who tried to light a fire gave up? Think about that. Where would we be today? If the first caveman, whatever his name might have been, couldn't light a fire and gave up. Do you think about things calmly? Or are you a worrier? A lot of people have that problem. I know someone who has that problem, and they worry constantly about things that they might not even need to worry about. It's like they play worst case scenario all the time. Remember perspective. Put things in perspective. Don't blow them out of proportion. I know people like that too. You got a molehill, they made the Sierra Nevadas out of a molehill. It's just making your life all the harder when you do that. You need to boil things down, keep them in perspective. Does this thing really matter? It's going to matter in 5 years, you know. Try and take time every day to meditate. I think that's very essential. I do at least 10 minutes a day to declutter your mind. Or just listen to some relaxing music for at least 30 minutes. And I do that at the end of the day. Right after work, when you get home, is an ideal time. And Dr. Gray, PhD, who did the Mars and Venus thing years ago, he recommends 30 minutes transition time when you come home from work till you start doing things around the house. That's to decompress, de-stress, think about what on during that, and get ready to transition into your home life. You might find you don't need that much, men seem to need more. Their brains are different than ours. They are modal. They have to shift gears. Whereas, we have 3 times the connection in our corpus callosum, and our brain talks to each other logically and emotionally, a lot faster and easier than theirs does. So, if you're a woman, you might only need 10 minutes, but take that time to decompress, de-stress, to get over your day and get back into your home life. If you want to, someday you will work happily. If you want to. If you want to, someday you will be happy. If you want to be. Are you dedicating time to learning something new every day? And people might not think that's important, but studies show as we age, we lose some of our cognitive abilities. So, take time to learn something new. There's so much in the world to learn about. And that's why somebody said something one time about me being really smart. And I said, I know there's so much I don't know, that I know I'm not a know-it-all. So, there's always something that you can study and learn about. And that will help you to keep your mind going up into your senior years. It will help your mind grow and keep it young. I devote an hour a day to my studies. If you can't squeeze that in, even a half hour is better than none. We all get older. If we take the best care of ourselves that we can, then we can have no regrets about our aging. And let's face it, we're all going to slide off the wagon every now and then. That extra piece of chocolate cake, extra piece of cheesecake, that's going to happen. But take the best care you can of yourself. Eat right, as much as you can. You can treat yourself once a week or, on somebody's birthday or something. Of course, you should do that, You don't want everybody else to be eating birthday cake where you're like, oh, no, I can't do that, because I'm on a diet. No, then you're going to hate your diet and you're going to go tomorrow and buy yourself a birthday cake and go eat that. That's an exaggeration. That's just a joke. But, take, your medicine. If you have medicine to take care of yourself, get some exercise and some sunshine, and do the best you can for yourself. Your body is your temple. It's the only one you got. It's what your soul lives in. Take care of it. On awareness. The more time that you spend learning about yourself, the more in harmony you will be with your soul. Because there are people walking around in the world, they don't know themselves. They are blown by the wind, and you can see it. And whatever's, cool, latest thing, just blown with the winds of the world. You need to know who you are at your core, what you believe in, what you stand for, what you think about, how you feel about things, what you want to do about things. You need to know who you are in order to feel really aware of what's going on around you. When you know yourself, then you can go out into the world and be the light that you were meant to be. Because, it's the whole thing that Jesus said about the blind leading the blind. If you're blind, you can't be leading the blind, or you're both going to fall in the ditch, and, you can step out a little bit as you learn more and feel like, hey, I got this down, I got this thing, and you can go out and teach people that, and you don't have to be an uber genius with, a crazy IQ or anything like that. You can just have a skill, that people might need. Only you can realize what your truth is. Your truth is between you and God. What is your truth? What is it? Other people can't define that for you. Oh, they'll try. They love to try. But they can't unless you let them. Your truth is you and what your purpose from God is. That's what you need to search out and find in yourself. No one can do that for you. And like I said, though, a lot of people like to try. There are a lot of labelers out there. I know some people, I ain't even going to say, but they're labelers. They point, you're this, you're this, you're this, you're that. They put you in that box, and they have a label on that box. So-and-so is a this, and that might not be true. On one incident, on one day, you might have said a thing that to them sounded like you're this, but they put you in that box, they put that label on, you're this. And they keep you in these little boxes, and that's what they do with people. And unfortunately, that goes on a lot. And when they do that, it really says something about them. They are not interested in intimate relationships. They like superficiality. They don't want to get to know you as a person. They would rather label you and stick you on a shelf. And that's sad for them. Excuse me. On the surface, we know what is good for us and what harms us. We then go about building a happy, successful life, which is every person's birthright. We do, however, need to look closely at what reactions we are having to decide if our happiness is healthy for us and others. We should therefore strengthen our minds so that ignorance cannot gain a foothold. And going back to that for us and others, it's a little irresponsible if you have 5 kids to decide, I don't want to be a mom anymore. I'm just going to, go be a skydiver or whatever, Well, what about your 5 kids? You just going to walk out the door and leave them there, without any arrangements or anything? So some responsibility has to come into play there too. We can't always have 100% of what we want. Decide if our happiness is healthy for us and others. We should therefore strengthen our minds so that ignorance cannot gain a foothold and cause suffering in our lives. And I'm not going to point any fingers or say anything about anybody specifically, but I feel like ignorance is playing a lot of the problems in our country right now, because people are not listening to common knowledge, science, common sense, and preferring, this is the way I feel about this is the way I think about this, so this is how this needs to go. And the other people who aren't on board with this, because some people are on board with this, hey, yeah, let's do what we want and be this way. While the rest of the world is like that commercial, where the old lady sees the other old ladies and they're posting pictures on a wall and saying, I posted this, and the lady's like, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. And ignorance can cause suffering in our lives. I mean, it is causing suffering in our lives. Sexism, racism, just plain old trying to force your will on other people is rampant in this country right now. Positive reactions grow our happiness like a big sunflower. And that's, just a fact. If you have positive interaction, positive reactions, that's going to grow you. That's going to make you feel good. While negative reactions undermine our happiness as sure as any landmine. Again, if you've done your best effort, you get out there and you're thinking it's great, and then someone says something negative, it is like boom, the ground's out from under you like a landmine. Therefore, a clear understanding of your inner world is of the utmost importance. And I was writing something on that today about dreaming, your dreams. Dream journal. Because when you do, you can see what your subconscious mind is preoccupied with. And that'll tell you what is going on inside of you, what your mind and heart are dwelling on. We are all human. If you are a human and you're listening to this now. On that level, none of us are strangers. We all can put ourselves in another person's shoes and try to understand what they're going through. The differences between us are usually superficial and even fleeting. Times change and so do cultures. Fact of life. Think of all the past civilizations that have been around, and they're not around anymore. Emotions are a double-edged sword. Some of them help us. Some of them harm us. We all experience anger, jealousy, love, and fear. Turn my page here. You can examine these emotions and decide what place they have in your life and how they run in your life. Are you going to let anger and jealousy run your life? That's not their job. That's your job, not their job to run your life. We all use our senses to examine the world. They are an automatic gauge for what is pleasant and unpleasant to us. And that was developed, through evolution. What's going to hurt us? What's going to help us? What tastes good and is good to eat, and what tastes bad and is bad to eat. That's where those things come from. If something makes you feel bad, you don't want to be involved in that. If something makes you feel good, you do want to be involved in that. You must learn to cherish yourself before you can cherish others. And that's a hard lesson. And I had to learn, self-love, probably 20 some years ago, because I didn't grow up with that. And I wasn't being shown that. No one was modeling that. I did have a few good examples in my family of that, but they were older people who died, when I was in my 20s, and so I didn't have continued exposure to that. So that was hard for me, because every negative message that I heard would sink in, and I'm like, I don't think I'm such a bad person, but this person said this, and this person said this, and letting it all pile up, And so I didn't know myself or have enough self-esteem to love myself enough, to just let that stuff go the way it should have. And when you learn to cherish yourself, then you can. I've heard the saying about, you can't pour water out of an empty cup. You have to fill your cup till it's overflowing, and then you can pour out for others. There is no way around that, and that's true. You cannot fully love someone until you fully love yourself. I've seen a lot of good religious people come into our office for counseling. That's when I was working in counseling offices. They have been taught to serve others constantly and not think of themselves at all except for their daily needs. They come back and broken down, not having any idea of who they are, because they're taught you don't matter, selfless service, it's not about you. So, but then, they are 30 years old or older even, and suddenly realize they don't know who they are. They don't know. They're just doing this stuff by rote, and they haven't felt fulfilled. They haven't had a life. And they just wake up one day, it's like, who am I? Why am I doing this? Well, I don't even know. They don't know how to function anymore and don't know why they're doing what they're doing. Like I said, it's just become by rote. Most of the time, that's the way that they were raised, or how their church teaches them. Of course, this is a good selfless motto. It's good to be selfless and help others and give to others if you have, more than enough. But the problem lies with people suddenly realizing that they have no idea of who they are, why they are doing these things. They feel like they have become a blind robot or slave to others with no worth or will of their own. And that's not a good feeling. When you feel like you just become a blind automaton to others and realize you have no life or worth of your own, then that's some serious problems cropping up for your mind. You must be right with yourself before you can be right with others and with, above all, God. Because God doesn't want you to be, this robot. He doesn't want you to be just someone going through the motions. He made you the way you are. So he likes your personality. He likes your quirks. He made you the way you are. He wants you to use your gifts, to do things. That's why he bothered to make you. When you come before God, wouldn't it be better to be able to say, I did these good deeds because I wanted to. It's part of who I am. But then you know that, don't you? Rather than, they asked me to do this, so I did. I didn't really want to, but I felt like if I didn't, they would look down on me. Which do you think God would respect more? I know what my opinion is. We should all love others and serve them. But doing it for the right reasons is important. We should do it because it's what we want, not because we feel forced or guilted into it. I think that the self-knowledge that is taught in Buddhism and Hinduism, even though it is then dissolved, is an important missing step in the Judeo-Christian faiths. How can we find God if we can't find ourselves? You have a piece of God in yourself. It's called your soul. And you must connect with it to feel what God wants you to use it for. We are all equal. With practice, you will be able to put yourself in others' places and be able to be more compassionate towards them and yourself. If everyone, everywhere, would practice such understanding and compassion, our world would be such a better place than it is today. You must take these actions gradually and thoroughly, or you will not be grounded and will lose your way. One step at a time, one foot in front of the other, just like in the old Christmas show. Again, you must know you to be you. That is the height of wisdom. Then you can teach others and be a ray of light shining out into the world. A moon-like reflection of the sun-like center of our universe. The creative force that I call God. Your heart will almost always guide you correctly. I'm talking about the core of your being and not that lump of muscle in your chest. It is where your joy comes from and your sadness. When you know it, you can heal it and use it in the way that it was meant for you. Only when all people feel secure and their basic needs are met will there be peace. And we can see that evident in today. All things are impermanent but the spirit. All things pass away. Bodies, thoughts, cultures, religions, societies, and even planets and suns. Puts things in perspective, doesn't it? In the end, your spirit is all that matters to you. Feed, guard, and grow it like the treasure that it is. None of the above impermanent things will make you happy in the end. Equals. We are all to be equals. Anyone who insists that they are above another one, or that another sex, or color, or creed is above another is ignorant. God made us all in His, her, or their image. Any corruption of personhood and justice for all is not from God, despite what the perpetrator may say. It comes from somewhere else, where there's fire and brimstone and wailing and gnashing of teeth. And that's our bell. So that's all for today. I hope you found that educational and informational. Until next time.